calculate the alternate depth and the corresponding fruit numbers. Have you seen this problem already? So here you can see the specific energy is equal to y plus v square by 2g. So here v again you are going to substitute for q by v into y because it is a rectangular channel. Then q is known to you, b and y, b is known to you, width of the channel, only thing is y is unknown. So 1.5 is equal to y plus that q square divided by 2g b square y square, and you are substituting and you are finding what is the value of y. Now how to find y? So you have to find out, because this is a quadratic equation, find what are your alternate depths, y1 and y2. But there will be two alternate depths for this. This is a quadratic equation. You can solve by trial and error, find out what are the alternate depths. Now y1 and y2 for the same specific energy, there are two alternate depths. Now if you substitute for f for fruit number 1 for the depth of y1, v by square root of g into b. b is a by t. T is the top width. A is b into y divided by top width is width of the channel B. So BB gets cancelled. A by T is nothing but Y. So you'll be having BY B into, sorry, here what you have is G into, so you have taken substituted for A and you'll be having BY into GY. So you'll be having fruit number is equal to 6.48 divided by BY into root of G into Y, or you can substitute Y power 3 by 2 on simplification. So now you can find what are your F1 and F2. F1 corresponds to Y1 subcritical flow 1.3 meter. Y2 corresponds to 0.63 meter. It is a supercritical flow. For F2 is 1.67. Okay. I think this problem you have seen yesterday's class, right? What is the 50-degree triangle? This problem already we discussed, right? 50-degree triangular channel section. And next we will see the next problem. Have you seen this? Calculate the bottom width of the channel required to carry a discharge of... No. Okay, calculate the bottom width of the channel which is required to carry a discharge of 15 meter cube per second at a critical flow at a depth of 1.2 meter if the channel cross section is rectangular trapezoidal with a side slope of 1.2 horizontal is to 1 vertical. So rectangular cross section, the solution for this case is we can see YC is equal to, for rectangular case, critical depth is q square by g whole power 1 by 3. Am I right? This derivation already we have seen in the previous classes. So critical depth for a rectangular channel is q square by small q square by g the whole raised to 1 by 3, or where q is equal to g into yc whole cube. This can be rewritten as the yc cube, then g into yc cube, then square root of g into yc cube is nothing but cube. Now we can see yc is equal to 9.81 into yc is nothing but 9.81 into 1.20 because your critical flow depth is given as 1.2. And now you'll be getting what is your q. Q is equal to 4.12 meter cube per second per meter, because why per meter? Q, capital Q is meter cube per second, because small q is meter cube discharge per unit width, and hence here it is actually wrong. This should be q. This should not be yc. This should be q actually. This should be q. Q is equal to 9 square root of 9.81 into 1.2 whole cube. So we will be getting 4.12 meter cube per second per meter. Okay. Now what is the bottom width? B is equal to your 15 is the discharge divided by small q. If you put on 4.12, then you will be getting what is your bottom width. The bottom width is nothing but 3.64 meter. Now consider a trapezoidal cross section. So you go for a trial and error method. C is equal to, for critical flow trapezoidal cross section. What is question? You need to calculate what is the bottom width of the channel. So for rectangular channel section, we have calculated what is the bottom width. Now for trapezoidal channel, side slope of 1.5 horizontal is to 1 vertical. You need to calculate what is the bottom width of the channel. So here you will be having B plus 1.5 horizontal is to 1 vertical. So M is equal to 1.5 into depth is 1.2. So B plus My into Y is equal to, so that is going to be the value of this Then TC is equal to your top width is going to be P plus 2 into My is equal to B plus 3.6. You know this condition for trapezoidal channel section. This condition we have seen in the last class. If it is a non-rectangular channels, then the critical flow condition is Q square by G is equal to AC cube divided by TC is going to be your non-rectangular channels. For non-rectangular channels, this is the critical flow condition. Now Q is, you are going to substitute AC B plus 1.8 into 1.2 the whole cube. Then TC B plus 3.6, substitution of these values, we will be getting what is the base width. Okay. Now that you will be going to get the bottom width by means of trial and error. So trial and error, you are getting B is equal to 2.53, here 3.64. Okay. Now what we will be having for a given specific energy, your E1 is going to be constant. Suppose discharge versus depth curve. So if you are plotting the variation of discharge versus depth, so how it will be? So this is going to be your discharge, then this is going to be your variation of discharge, this is going to be variation of depth. Suppose if discharge is increasing, instead of specific energy is constant, but discharge is increasing, then you will be having subcritical flow condition and supercritical flow condition. Okay. So here the discharge versus width, you will be having subcritical and supercritical flow condition, keeping energy is constant, specific energy is constant. So the condition for maximum discharge can be obtained by differentiating the equation 5.14 with respect to y and equating it to 0, since we are keeping E is constant. Okay, what is your 5.14 is nothing but this one. E1 is equal to y plus q square by 2g a square, or q is equal to this equation you are going to have, you are bringing on the other side E1 minus y, then multiplied by 2g, then taking square root into a. Okay. So ultimately this equation you are going to differentiate, because you are going to find the variation of q, keeping E1 as constant. Okay. Now dq by y is equal to root of 2g into dA by dy into square root of E1 minus y minus a by 2 into square root of E1 minus y. So this equation is differentiated. This equation is differentiated. Q is equal to a into root of 2g E1 minus y is differentiated with respect to depth. So you are getting like this. Now dA by dy into square root of E1 minus y, you are keeping it on the left hand side. That things you are bringing equal to 0, because E is going to be constant. Hence dA by dy you can replace with the top width, and q by a you can replace with the square root of 2g into E1 minus y. So if you are substituting these two things, we will be getting q square by 2g a square is equal to E1 minus y. Or you can have t into dy by y. This is one equation. My into 2 into E1 minus y is equal to 2. Again rewriting the same thing. And you will be substituting 5.16 into 5.15. You are getting 2 into q square divided by 2g a cube is equal to 1, or q square tc into g into ac cube is equal to 1. Again, this is same as your previous critical flow condition. Okay. So what you are having here is critical flow condition equation. Again, critical flow condition also corresponds to maximum discharge in a channel for a fixed specific energy. So this condition is valid. So hence, for critical flow condition corresponds to fixed maximum discharge. Critical flow conditions corresponds to maximum flow discharge for a given specific energy, isn't it? So for a critical flow, you are having the maximum discharge. நான் கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன், முடிச்சுட்டு வரேன். எங்கே மேம்? என்னது மேம்? வந்துட்டு பேசவா? முடிச்சுட்டு வரேன், வந்துட்டு பேசுறேன். So here similarly for rectangular cross section, if you take for a given specific energy, you are taking E is equal to E1, and the E1 is nothing but y plus q square by 2g b square into yc square, and you are going to substitute and you are going to get the small value of q in terms of e1 and y, and you are differentiating with respect to y. You will be getting e1 is equal to 3 by 2 yc. Already we have seen this 1.5 times of yc critical depth. This derivation already we have seen. Or if it is yc is equal to 2 by 3 times of e. And the maximum discharge for the critical water depth is q is equal to q maximum is equal to root of 2g yc into root of e1 minus c. And e1 going to be 3 by 2 yc for a rectangular channel. I think this derivation already we have seen. Okay, then again we are going to get the maximum discharges v into yc power 1.5 the square root of g, or else g into yc power 3 by 2. And this formula, this variation of discharge with respect to depth is known as Koch parabola. This parabola is known as Koch parabola. This parabola is known as variation of water depth with discharge is known as Koch parabola variation. I think this problem we have seen, I guess. Find the critical water depth for a specific energy 1.5 meter. In B is equal to 1.2 meter, M is equal to 1. Have you seen this problem yesterday? I think I remember.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We will close this. Again, we will come to the next part of this. So in the hydraulic jump, what we have seen is we have seen critical flow depth for rectangular channels, triangular channels, and trapezoidal channels. How to compute the critical flow depth and how to compute specific energy, and what are alternate depths or conjugate depths, and how we have to represent in terms of Froude numbers, the alternate depths in terms of Froude numbers. Okay, so these are the various topics we have covered with respect to hydraulic jump. So next we have to see what is our flow profiles, gradually varied flow profiles. We have been discussing about non-uniform flow. When we are discussing non-uniform flow, we have been discussing about two flows. One is gradually varied flow, another one is rapidly varied flow. So gradually varied flow, the variation of depth is gradual over the space. That is going to, okay. Now this gradually varied flow profiles, can you say one example of a gradually varied flow profile? Have you seen anywhere else gradually varied flow profile? What are the assumptions which can be made, or gradually varied flow profile? Have you seen anywhere else gradually varied flow profile?
I mean dams.
Flow, when you are having a flow in a river, when you are constructing a dam across the river, what happens to the upstream side of the dam? There will be a gradual increase in the depth. Am I right? Depth of the flow in the river, there will be a gradual variation, increasing the depth. And at the dam section, the depth will be higher and the depth will be decreasing for a longer length, maybe few kilometers, the depth will be decreasing in the river. Isn't it? Am I right or not? So that is a best example for gradually varied flow. Okay, so variation is gradual. Depth of the flow variation is gradual over the length of the channel. Okay, and what are the assumptions which is made? General assumption for gradually varied flow is flow is steady and the streamlines are usually parallel. These are the two assumptions made in the gradually varied flow. And what are the basic assumption? Head loss for gradually varied flow is similar to that of the uniform flow. For a uniform flow, whatever head loss we are assuming, The same frictional losses we can assume for gradually varying flow. And the slope of the channel is small, or else you can consider cos theta is equal to unity. There is no air entrainment, and vertical depth of flow is considered from the bottom. So we are considering the channel slope is very small. And the flow in prismatic channel is, it will be having constant alignment and shape. And velocity distribution coefficients are constants. These are some of the assumptions made in the gradually varying flow. Okay. And conveyance factor and section factor are exponential functions of the depth of the flow. Conveyance factor, anyway, we will discuss what is conveyance, and section factor is usually I by Y. That section modulus actually. But anyway, we will discuss when coming to the sectional, the various channel cross section. We will see what is conveyance and section factor. Okay, and they are the actually exponential functions of depth of the flow, and roughness coefficient is independent of the depth and constant throughout the channel range. Okay, now this is the dynamic equation for gradually varied flow profile. We have seen this flow. You can see the channel bottom and see section 1 and section 2. The depth of the section 1 is say y, and here the depth is, say suppose here it is y1, here it should be y2, and y1 is higher, y2 is smaller. There is a water surface slope is w, channel bottom is not, and your horizontal line parallel to the datum, we are considering the datum, small theta angle. Suppose if it is small theta, then it is d cos theta. Suppose if this is going to be your d, this is going to be your d, then perpendicular to this channel, you will be having, this is d cos theta. Suppose if this is theta, this is also theta, and we will be having d cos theta as your depth, isn't it? So this is going to be your depth, and alpha v square by 2g is nothing but your kinetic correction factor. Z is nothing but datum head. Okay, and energy line is nothing but your energy line. This is going to be the total energy line, and this is going to be your consider the profile of gradually varied flow. We are considering this profile, and let dx is going to be the elementary length of the open channel. So now we are consider what is the total head above the datum of the channel is. We will be having h plus z, which is equal, total head is equal to z plus d cos theta plus alpha v square by 2g is nothing but total head at the channel section 1. So now we are taking the bottom of the channel as x-axis and differentiating the equation 1 with respect to x. So the bottom of the channel we are considering x-axis. So I am differentiating with respect to x. So dh is the total head, and dh by dx is equal to dz by dx plus cos theta into dd by dx plus alpha into d by dx of v square by 2g. SF is nothing but slope of total energy, and it is assumed to be positive if it is descending. So if the slope is descending direction, then consider. So if it is assumed to be positive, it descends in the direction of flow, and negative if it is ascending. So both will be there. If it is descending, energy is positive. If it is ascending, energy is negative. Slope of the energy line is negative. Now you can see from the figure, you can see energy slope is equal to minus dh by dx because the flow is descending. Okay. And the slope of the channel bottom S0 is nothing but sin theta is going to be minus dz by dx, channel bottom slope. Now you substitute all the values. dh by dx is nothing but minus sf. Then dz by dx is nothing but minus s0 plus cos theta into dd by dx. D is the depth, alpha into d by dx of v square by 2g. Then it will be having cos theta dt by dx plus alpha into d by dx of dd by dd of dx of v square by 2g is equal to s0 by sf. Okay, now differentiating with respect to dd by dx of cos theta plus alpha into d by dd of v square by 2g is equal to s0 by sf. So it could be dy by dx is equal to, maybe d can replace by y also. Dy by dx is equal to s0 by sf divided by cos theta plus alpha into d by df v square by 2g. Or we can write dd by dx of is equal to s0 by sf by cos theta plus alpha into d by dd of v square by 2g. So this is the general differential equation for gradually varied flow, or else you can say dynamic equation of gradually varied flow. Here depth D is measured from the bottom of the channel, and the channel bottom is considered as x-axis. Instead of we are taking channel bottom as x-axis, hence we are having D is measured from the bottom of the channel. Okay. So this equation is very much important. You can replace dd by d by y, dy by dx equal to s naught minus sf divided by cos theta plus alpha into d by dy of v square by 2g. Dynamic equation of gradually varied flow. This equation is very much important for the computations. Okay, now there are three conditions. Suppose SF is friction slope, energy slope, and S0 is the bed slope. If S0 is equal to SF, both are same, then this becomes 0. Okay, so your dd by dx becomes 0. And your SF is less than S0. So suppose friction slope, where total energy slope is less than S0, then this becomes positive because S0 will be higher, hence this value will become positive. And rather if S of is higher than S0, then the slope becomes negative. In other words, you can say the surface, water surface profile parallel to the channel bottom when rising and when lowering. There are two conditions. Okay. So the water surface is parallel to the channel bottom is dd by dx equal to 0. Are you understanding? dd by dx equal to 0. Then water surface profile is parallel to the channel bottom. How it will be, you can see in the figure. This profile, instead of descending or ascending, this profile will be parallel. If this profile is parallel to the channel bottom, then it is dd by dx is 0, or you can say the flow is uniform flow in that case. Okay, if it is a non-uniform flow only, it comes minus or plus. If it is a uniform flow, channel bottom and water surface profile are parallel. So the condition you can ask, what you will be getting here is dd by dx equal to 0, water surface profile is parallel to the channel bottom, and dd by dx is positive when rising and negative when lowering. So this case it will be lowering. So in this case it is actually lowering. It is actually lowering in this case. Okay. And then suppose for small values of theta, you can equate cos theta is equal to 1, and for small values of y cos theta, you can equate d is equal to y, and hence dd by dx you can replace with dy by dx. So what we will be getting is dy by dx equal to s0 minus sf divided by cos theta is 1. So 1 plus alpha into d by dy of v square by 2g. So this is the final equation for final dynamic equation of gradually varied flow. This is most important equation. This equation is essential for finding the type of water surface profile on the upstream and downstream of the flow. This equation is very much important. Please remember, this derivation is also important. Then dy by dx is equal to s0 minus sf divided by 1 plus alpha into d by dy of v square by 2g. And this portion represents variation of velocity head, or you can say rate of change of variation of velocity head with respect to y. And this coefficient alpha can be assumed to be constant from section to section of the channel breach. So what we will be having is velocity term, we can write alpha into d by dy of this v square by 2g, you can write in terms of q by a, right? So it can be q square into d of a power minus 2. As q is constant, you can take out. So only variation is a. So d of a power minus 2. Or else you can have alpha into q square divided by this 2. If you are differentiating this, you will be getting 2 gets cancelled. And we will be having a power minus 2 becomes a cube in the denominator. So now dA by dy into 1 by a cube. So alpha minus alpha q square t by g into a cube. So dA by dy is nothing but t, top width. dA by dy is replaced by top width. So we will be having minus alpha q square t divided by ga into q. So this is the velocity term in the dynamic equation. Okay. and this d by dy of this velocity term minus alpha into q square t by g into a cube is, since a z is nothing but your section factor square root of a cube by t. So the above equation can be written in terms of z, like d by dy of v square by g is equal to a cube by t divided by z. Square root of a cube by t, if it is squared on this side, then this will become a g z square. So this minus alpha into q square divided by g into z square. Okay. Suppose the critical flow of this section factor, I will come later. I will explain how the section factor is calculated. You just, for this time being, you just remember it is a cube by t. T is the top bit, a is the area of the channel. So the section factor for each channel I will discuss subsequently after completing this. Now alpha into dy by d by dy of v square by 2g is equal to minus alpha into q square divided by g into z square if you replace with z. So a cube by t is replaced with 3z. So suppose that critical flow of discharge equal to q which occurs at this section, then we can rewrite this equation as q is equal to zc into square root of g by alpha. Okay, or we can write from equation 1 and 2 alpha into d by dy of v square by 2g is equal to minus zc square divided by z square. So critical flow condition for a section factor divided by ordinary section factor. So now if you want to replace in terms of z and s naught, then we will be having dy by dx is equal to s naught minus sf divided by 1 minus zc by z whole square, or dy by dx is equal to s naught, if you can take it out, this will be 1 minus sf by s naught divided by 1 minus zc by z square, z the whole square. So for Manning's formula, you can calculate, we know what is the value of S energy line, slope of the energy line. Then Manning's or Davis formula, you can express in terms of conveyance. So here is Q is equal to your K into square root of S. So here K is nothing but your conveyance here. What is here is square root of S. Suppose 1 by n, or if it is Manning's formula, 1 by n or to the power 2 by 3 s to the power half. Am I right? So Q is equal to that A into 1 r to the power of 1 by A by n into r to the power of 2 by 3 is nothing but your K here. That is your conveyance. So K into square root of SF. That SF remains same on the right hand side. This is according to either Manning's or for Cheggy's formula. Now your SF becomes Q square by A square. Okay. So suppose if it is for a uniform flow of discharge equal to Q, then energy slope would be equal to the bottom slope. So S naught becomes Q square by n square. So nothing but normal depth. It is a normal depth, not for critical depth. Then SF by S naught is equal to Kn square by K square. So you can replace, instead of SF by S naught by means of its conveyance, it could be dy d by x of s naught into square 1 minus kn by kn the whole square divided by 1 minus zc by z the whole square. This is another way of expressing the dynamic equation of a gradually varied flow in terms of conveyance and section factor. Okay, so that is the basic derivation for the derivation of gradually varied flow. Next comes your classification of water surface profile. This is the classification of water surface profile. Maybe this we will discuss in the next class. But these are the classifications. Like there are 3 regions, 1, 2, and 3. Slopes, mild slope, steep slope, critical slope, horizontal slope, and adverse slope. Depending upon the slope by channel bottom. Whether the channel bottom S is less than SC, S is greater than SC, S is equal to SC, S is equal to 0, or S is in the negative side, opposite direction. Okay. So this we will discuss, maybe each and individual profile we will discuss in the next class. For that, please remember this equation. It is more important actually. Gradually varied flow. This equation is what is used for that profile. Water surface profile has been derived only from this equation. So this is the dynamic equation of gradually varied flow, which has been used for the classification of water surface profiles. Okay, so I am stopping here. Maybe Monday we will continue with the water surface profiles. Okay. Okay, I'm stopping here and we'll see the remaining things in the Monday class. Thank you.